Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, I have naked nails. Please excuse that. I am also going to apologize for the background noise that you are probably going to hear. I'm currently in the midst of trying to catch up on laundry, and the washing machine is just on the other side of this wall, and so you're probably going to hear that. Again, I do apologize, but I hope you guys notice I did get a new tripod, so we can go back to the old way of filming these Shop My Stash style videos. I think people generally like this bird's eye overview kind of style a lot better, but if you happen to like the old way where it was more like I just sit down and talk you through the products I've picked out, let me know. I would be more than happy to get some input on that. So first, what I want to do before we actually shop any items, I have put most of the things back that I pulled out for February, but I did want to show you some highlights. So I had pulled out this cream, or not a cream, it's a powder blush from Benefit. This is the Gold Rush blush. It's the mini size. I just wanted to show you guys. Hopefully you can see in there. We have like the littlest teeny bit of baby pan right there. I am super excited. I did not think that I was close to accomplishing that goal, so I'm going to keep this out. This is something that I'm low-key panning in my makeup, and I would just like to see if we could maybe expand that pan. So there's that to update you on. And then this bronzer, this is the Skin Bronzing bronzer from Nabla. It's in the shade Amber, which I believe is their lightest shade. But I just wanted to also open this up and show you guys. Look in the center of that. We have some nice big pan right there for your viewing pleasure. So I really enjoy this bronzer. I want to pan this. I want to finish this off this year. It only has 6.5 grams of product. I think that's quite doable. However, the more I've used this, the more I've realized it's not like my most favorite bronzer, so I'm gonna put this away for the month and, pull something else out and just, shop around, and then I will pull this out maybe in the following month, focus in on it a month, take a month off from it, and I think I could, by doing that, still finish it off this year. But yeah, I just wanted to update you on those things. So I'm going to zoom you in and we will get started on the Shop My Stash. Okay, so we're gonna go a little bit out of order. I don't want to forget to pull anything, so it's easier if I just go drawer by drawer as opposed to pulling things out in the order that you would apply them to your face. So this is where I house all of my cream blushes, as you can see. So I am still working on a stick blush, but I would like to pull out some of these Rare Beauty blushes just to play around with. So this is the more orangey one in the shade Peace. Mine are all mini sized, but that is what that one is looking like. I am just I'm in the mood now for spring things, you know what I mean? So I do want to pull that guy out. And then another springy color that I have from them is this Hope and Bliss, I think, or maybe it's Hope and Adore. They're both very similar, as you can see. This one, which is Hope, is a little bit darker, but I do want to pull out the shade Adore, which is more on the lighter pinky side. So there's what that one looks like. So yeah, that is the two cream blushes we will pull out. Okay, and then in here I have a bunch of cream liquid type highlighters. So I've had my mind on this one. I've fallen in love with this Stole the Show. It's one of the Super Shock highlighters from ColourPop. This is just so pretty and I can't quit thinking about it. I think I could probably hit pan on this in a month, but it's just so gorgeous. It's a little bit more icy than what I think I would normally go for in the spring, but like I said, I've just been enjoying it so much, had my mind on it. So I do want to pull this one out as well. Alright, so I've opened up my first drawer. I know you can't see the whole entirety of it, but that is okay. This is where I house my bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. So I'm going to start with bronzers because I know for sure what two I would like to pull out. So this first one is actually a highlighter from the Balm. This is the Bonnie Luminizer. If you guys have been here for a long time, you'll know that I've had this for many years. I only pull this out in like the spring, summer months and use this as a glowy bronzer. I'm trying not to blind you with the mirror. It's really pretty and it works really well for that. I don't ever wear this just on its own though. I do layer it with like a traditional bronzer and create like a glowy bronzer that way. But I don't know if I could finish this off this year. That's why I want to kind of pull it out earlier than I normally would, because while I do enjoy this, I like the Balm, like the quality of their products. It's just time to get this worked out and finished off. So then the other bronzer that I want to pull out is from Physicians Formula. This is their Butter Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Bronzer. I think that's like the second deepest. I think they have one lighter than this. So I want to pull this out because I think that when we get more into the summer months, this might be too light. Like this, and honestly that Nabla one that we already talked about, both of those might be too light for me once I get a little bit of some color on these paste to hands, you can tell. So yeah, these are the two bronzers that I will be pulling out. All right, and then for blushes, I'm going to kind of take a cop out. I have a lot of blushes that I'm trying to like actively work through and finish off this year, but this just seems like something easy to pull out. This is my Benefit Cheek Stars palette. So if I open this up for you guys, this does have 3 blushes and a bronzer. It's the Hoola bronzer. Obviously you can tell I love Sugar Bomb. I want to challenge myself to get more use out of Georgia. Dallas might be a bit too brown for what I want right now, but Georgia I think could definitely work. And then I will also include a swatch of Sugar Bomb just for fun, because that'll probably be the shade that I'm like gravitating towards the most, let's be real. But yeah, I do want to challenge myself to use some of the other shades in here. So this is Dallas. That's probably too brown for me. This is Georgia, which is like a peachy, kind of glowy. Honestly, this looks a lot similar to the Gold Rush mini that I have, so I would like to compare those as well. And then here is Sugar Bomb, which is just a great peachy blush. And then if I use the bronzer, that's just an added bonus as well. So highlighter. Alright, I'm only going to currently pull out one powdered highlighter because I do have 2 going that I'm trying to finish, but this is from Nabla as well. This is in the shade Privilege. I really enjoy this as far as like peachy highlighters go. I think you guys can tell there's a lot of wear, like especially in this corner. So here is a swatch of that. It is just so pretty and so nice, and I really love the way that these Nabla highlighters wear. I think that they blend out very easily. They don't accentuate any texture or anything like that, at least not for me, not that I have found. And they're not, well, this one, the Ozone one that I have is a bit more like bam in your face, but this Privilege one, if you have been on the hunt for like a nice peachy highlighter, I don't think you could go wrong with this. And especially if they go back on sale during like a 21 days of beauty or something like that. So yeah, this will be the highlighter that I pull out. Okay, so the next drawers down here are palette drawers. I know you can only see the top one, but again, that's okay. I just wanted to do a quick recap though, because I don't know if I'm going to pull out any palettes or maybe only just one. So I want to show you the palettes that I currently have sitting out on my vanity. They're going in some type of project one way or another. So this is the Juvia's Place, the Rebel Mints quad. This is what this one looks like. Then I have the Batty Bean and Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bats palette. It does have a mirror on it. That is what this palette looks like. Then we have the Frosty Flamingo palette by Sugar Drizzle. So this one is also going. This one is very pretty, very purpley. Absolutely love this duochrome shade right here. Then I have the Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette going on right now. This palette is a little bit reflective, but I think you can get a good color representation of it. And then the last palette, should I open this? It'll be a spoiler, but I think that'll be the next video that you'll see. Let's just open it. This is the retro palette that's going in my Project Level Up that was created by Sophie Alexandra. I won't draw any attention to it, but if you guys know, you know. But I have absolutely fallen in love with this retro palette. Really glad that I've gotten to pull it out and work on it and play with it. So those are all the palettes that are living on my desk right now. So let me just take a moment, kind of see if there's any other things, like any other palettes that I want to pull out for right now. Okay, so I did decide to pull out these two. So with the palettes that I pull out, like obviously I reserve the right to dip into whatever palette that I want, whatever strikes my fancy. But I just really pull out palettes just to show you guys like, hey, these are, you know, the palettes I'm thinking of pairing with what I'm working on. So I pulled out the BH Cosmetics Party in Puerto Rico palette. I feel like this is a great summery palette, but these oranges and things like that, I really think this is going to help me get more use out of the Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette, because as funny as it sounds, Haley's a little like, oh, that's too neutral now. So I think if I compare this with it, I'll have a lot more fun with it. There are just some great pops of like orange in here, this really like pretty magenta-y pink. So I will pull this one out. And then since I have the Mints palette that I'm working on, I thought maybe it would be great to pull out the Lost in Los Angeles palette, help play around with those minty shades, and then too, I think this would also pair really nicely with that Sugar Drizzle palette. This could be fun to also pair with the It's Freakin' Bats palette, since that one is a little bit like dark, and like I said, I'm getting more into that like spring mood, so I don't want a bunch of like dark makeup, if that makes sense. So I do think these two will be great like companions to pull out and play with at this time of year. Okay, so now we're looking at like the little desk where I do my makeup. Again, it's kind of hard to fit everything into frame, so I am in this drawer over here, which houses all of my like foundation and concealers. So I'm currently only working on one foundation, and Ruth, this is for you. I'm gonna pull this guy out. It's the Lancome Teint, no, I always say this wrong, Teint Idole, I'm not even gonna try, okay? I'm terrible at names. But Ruth, I'm pulling this out for you because you told me I had to work on this. I have mine in the shade 210 Buff In. It's a really good shade match. I really like this foundation. I just don't use it because it's like so expensive, and I'm like, oh, I want to save it for like special occasions. Every day should be that special occasion. So I'm going to pull this out. And then for concealers, I am currently working on a concealer, and I'm so close to being done that I just want to put in my best effort with it. So I'm not going to pull out any concealers. I'm going to open up this middle drawer for you guys just so you can see in here. So I would like to pull out my Too Faced Born This Way powder. This is just in the translucent shade. I have there's like a sticker on the back, obviously, so it's kind of hard to see, but I feel like I'm about halfway done with this, and I would just like to get some good solid use on it, pull it out. It's a wonderful setting powder, but I just want to, you know, move it out of my collection, move it out of my life, you know. I'm going to pull out a different cream bronzer. So typically I just have my Milk Makeup bronzing stick in the shade Baked, but I got curious, and so I heard really good things about this cream bronzer from ABH. I have mine in the shade Sunkissed, which I believe is the lightest shade. I've swatched it and I've worn it once, and my initial thoughts on this is that it's a little too warm for me. I know that in the swatch and looking at it in the pan, this looks like it would be great. Like it's more on the like neutral side, which is what I like from my bronzers. But when you blend it out on top of your foundation and you layer your blush and everything like that, it kind of changes the undertone and it makes it very much more warm. So I'm just gonna pull this out, play around with it, see if I can form like a solid opinion on it. Let's do setting sprays because I already had them pulled out. So this is my ColourPop Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid setting mist that I have rolled into the deck of panning project pan. You can see my little progress lines. I do not like this as a setting spray. It smells lovely, as it's got like a coconutty scent to it, which is quite nice, but the mister on this is super fine. Like you have to hold this bottle so close to your face in order to feel like you got any kind of like spray on it. So I do feel like I'm overusing it a little bit. I'm going to switch tactics. So you guys know that typically in the drier months, I tend to pull out something like a spray like this, like a prepping spray. So after I apply my primers, I will spray like a prep spray on my face just to help bring back some of that like moisture that I feel like is missing. I'm going to try using this in that way instead of as a setting spray, because this is super glowy, and when I go to ham with it, I just look like a big grease ball. So that's what I'm going to pull out for that. And then I have this little setting spray. I got this for free via Influencer, but this is the Revlon Color Stay Lock-It 24-hour setting mist. I've used a bit of it. I would say it's a little over half full. Honestly, the way I've been using it is to spray my brushes. So I should probably like use this as a facial spray, or I mean as a setting spray, right? And try to like form an opinion on it. I didn't end up having to write a review for Revlon or for Influencer for that, because my box got lost in the mail and then randomly like showed up after the campaign had closed. So that's why I was like, well, campaign's closed, like nobody cares about my opinion, so I'm just gonna pull this out to use it on eyeshadows. Anyway, rambling over, let's do primers. So I'm going to pull out my CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer. This and this Urban Decay one are my only like primers. They're not pore filling, they're just primers. These are my only two that I have in my collection. I have not yet used this. This is just a little mini guy, but since it's part of the all-nighter line, I want to save this and pull this out in like June, July, August, where it's going to be the most humid, the most hot, and I can see how this holds up in the summer heat. So I'm going to not fool with that and just pull out my tried and true CoverGirl Outlast All Day Primer. Absolutely love this. I think this is like my third bottle of it. And then for pore primer, I did end up picking up from Rare Beauty. This is their pore diffusing primer. Let's see. I don't think you can really read anything on here. Pore diffusing primer. Yeah, that's all it says. So I picked this up. I wanted to see how this would do, because you guys have heard me. I've fallen out of love with the Benefit Porefessional primer. So I thought maybe I could pair this with like a more traditional primer and see how that works with like blurring and filling in my pores. So we will pull that out. And that would be everything from in this drawer. So the last drawer to pull out from is Lip Products, and I can actually, hold on, I can move you and we can look at this drawer together. Okay, so I am already working on two lipsticks. They both come from this Bite Beauty 10, so I am not going to pull out any lipsticks because I really do want to put a very good focus in on those and try to finish them off. I'm really like motivated, and I absolutely love the two colors that I'm working on. So we're just going to focus more on this part of the drawer, which is glosses, and you can see like there's a lot of glosses. We need to be focusing in on these, don't we? So the first one I want to pull out is from ColourPop. This is from their Sailor Moon collection. It's an ultra glossy lip in the shade Sailor Moon. This is just a really pretty peachy, very goopy. It's a really pretty peachy style gloss. I just think this will be really fun to pair over some other things and get some good use on this. This I think is one of my oldest glosses, so need to, you know, get a start on that. I need to get a start on a lot of these, to be quite honest. So then let's see, we should pull out one other gloss. So I'm trying to think, because so one of the lipsticks from this 10 is this first one right here. Hopefully you can tell it's more of like a brownie purple nude shade, and then this one is the other one that I'm working on, which is more of a pinky shade. So I feel like this peachy gloss will pair really nicely with this pinky one, but this brown one, I'm trying to decide what kind of gloss I'd like to pull out for that. I'm already working on two brown glosses, and to be quite honest, I'm kind of over brown glosses right now. So let's see, maybe we should pull something more pinky out. Maybe that would be pretty. I do have this. It's from Makeup Revolution. This was when they did their Friends collection. So this is in the shade Monica. It's always like a little bit hard to get that dofa out of there. That is what that one looks like. That could be a really pretty contender. And you know, I also have this. This is a NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Vanilla Cream Pie. Absolutely love these butter glosses. I think I'm going to pull this one out too, because this is like Barbie doll pink. Like that's the pink I'm thinking, but I think this is a more wearable pink. So those will be the three lip glosses that I pull out. Okay, so I'm just going to start putting everything away. I forgot to tell you guys, I had pulled this out from my February Shop My Stash. It's the ABH Sugar Glow Kit that Laura gifted me. So I've been using this. I think you can tell I've been using more of the shades other than just Starburst, which is my favorite from within here. We only pulled out one powder highlighter, so to be honest, I think I'm gonna leave this out for another month and just continue to play around with this as well. So this can stay on my desk. And then I did just want to show you, this is my BH Cosmetics Smitten in Switzerland palette. So I have my ABH Dip Brow Pomade right here in the shade Taupe. And so this is what I do to like fill in my eyebrows, is use this guy right here. And then I find that if I don't set it with a powder, it kind of like smears and it fades away and it just looks really bad. So I just wanted to show you, this is my current eyebrow powder that I've been using, the shade Slope from this palette. I love to use these like kind of taupey gray shades in my brows. I just think that it looks really nice. So there's that. And then also, could have mentioned this at the beginning, but in case this is your first time seeing this, I don't typically shop my stash for lip liners, which live in this Fox cup right here. All of my eye primers are in this little piggy cup, and then back here in this cup is all of my mascaras and eyeliners. So that's why we don't shop our stash for those, because they live out on my desk all the time, and so I just grab for what I want, what I feel like is the most appropriate, and I feel like I do a pretty good job of cycling through them that way. So that will conclude this Shop My Stash. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.